One of Trump's former chiefs of staff has come forward to claim that Trump succeeded in getting the IRS to audit some of his political rivals, including James Comey and Andrew McCabe. Now, there are some other issues here based on what, is it Mark Kelly? Not Mark Kelly.
John Kelly.
John Kelly. I'm like, Mark Kelly doesn't sound right. Yeah. So there are other details that John Kelly shares in disclosing what Trump was up to when he did serve as Trump's chief of staff. But let's give you the details on what we know. First off, why is Kelly coming out now? Well, it has to do with something Trump said after Ron DeSantis easily won his re-election bid in Florida's gubernatorial race. Kelly said he chose to respond now because Trump had publicly claimed last week that he had used the Justice Department and the FBI to help Governor Ron DeSantis win his election in Florida in 2018. Kelly, who was Trump's chief of staff at the time, said Trump never made such a request, which is the least surprising, update to the story imaginable. Now, what he did do was get the feds to essentially go after his political rivals. At least that's the case with Comey and McCabe. Kelly said that among those Trump said we ought to investigate and get the IRS on were the former FBI director James Comey and his deputy Andrew McCabe. Comey and McCabe had both been selected for a rare and highly intrusive audit by the tax agency in the years after Kelly left the White House. But I'm sure it was just a coincidence, I'm sure. Now, Trump had appointed one of his goons to be head of the IRS at the time. And I'm guessing that he had something to do with these audits. But nonetheless, Trump and his people claim that Trump knew nothing about the audits, know nothing about it. If he had, Kelly said, it would have been an improper use of the Justice Department and the FBI, which I think is obvious. Kelly said that after he initially started working for Trump as his chief of staff in July of 2017, he was surprised that Trump actually thought he would follow through on what the president wanted. Quote, he initially thought I would do it. He thought I would be loyal and obedient to him. I told him we were loyal to our oath to the Constitution. Kelly said that Trump also had no appreciation for that concept, which again is not surprising. And he continued to push Kelly to carry out his orders. And Kelly says, quote, if he told you to slit someone's throat, he thought you were going to go out and do it. I would say it's inappropriate, it's illegal, it's against their integrity, and the IRS knows what it's doing, and it's not a good idea. But apparently Trump would respond and say, yeah, but they're writing bad things about me.
Yeah, God. All right, so there's a couple of really interesting issues here. So first off, I hate to do it, but here we go again. Trump, one of the world's dumbest people. Like one person after another, one chief of staff after another, one advisor after another keeps telling him, Mr. President, we are not allowed to do that by law. And he's like, I don't get it. Why don't you? You're supposed to work for me. No, it's not a private business. They don't just work for you. Their job is not to just please you. Their job is to uphold their oath of office, which is a different concept. He never understood that. He still doesn't understand that. His IQ, I'd be shocked if it was double digits. He's just so profoundly unintelligent. So, okay, that's point one. Point two, Anna said it earlier in the show, says it all the time, that's right. He's so spoiled, he doesn't know that when a rich person says, hey, go do this, you don't have to run and go and do it. It depends on the situation. Now, John Kelly's known this for a long, long time. He was his longest chief of staff. So why is he coming forward now, as Anna brought that up? Well, number one, he wants to say, wait, I didn't do it. I was the chief of staff at the time, and I did not order the FBI to go and help Ron DeSantis, because that puts him in legal jeopardy, so he wants to clarify that. But by the way, if you listen to all of John Kelly's stories, it doesn't actually say that no one did it. He didn't do it. But could Trump have given, and by the way, what John Kelly explains all the time is Trump would give an illegal order and they just ignore him because he's an idiot and they weren't going to break the law and go to jail, right? So it's entirely possible that Trump did give that order to someone else and never told John Kelly. And then they did not do it like everyone else, because they're like, I can't order the FBI to investigate and help Ron DeSantis win an election, right? So that was my original thesis. When Trump said that, I said, I bet you he told someone and they didn't do it because you can't do it, right? And so it looks like that's probably what happened here.
Right, well, I mean, look, I think, because again, Trump put in place one of his goons to be the head of the IRS. And I mean, look, what are the chances, guys? What are the chances that both Comey and McCabe get slapped with this insanely rare IRS audit?
No, I did the math, Anna. I actually do know the chances. So it's not perfect, but the articles explain what the chances are in those years. Like in 1 year, there was only 5,000 audits of 153 million American taxpayers. In another
Good memory, Cenk.
Thank you. And in the year McCabe was audited, it was 154 million taxpayers, and only 8,000 people got that super special rare audit. It's not a normal audit.
That is the most impressive thing you have ever done.
This is really funny.
He memorized that. That's amazing. I have it in my notes. I was reading along. Anyway, sorry, I had to give him props where props are due. You know?
Thank you. I actually do that every day. But anyway, okay, so I did the math on it, and it's of course a rough math, right? But it's about the chances of both of them getting that audit coincidentally is about 1 in 625 million.
Wow.
So that did not happen coincidentally. That would be miraculous squared. So he definitely asked someone to audit them, and they carried it out.
Totally.
So this is not just about Trump. Whoever that guy was at the IRS that did those politically oriented audits should be found, fired, and prosecuted.
I totally agree, because it's a politically motivated audit of two individuals that Trump didn't like. And that's insane. You can't have the president of the United States use federal agencies as his own personal mob. And that's exactly what he tried to do. And there was more to it than that. So there's the IRS audits, and then there was this effort to revoke security clearances for others that Trump didn't like. So for instance, he wanted to revoke security clearance from officials from the George W. Bush and Obama administrations who had gone on to be critical of Donald Trump. Because that's the thing. That is the biggest mistake in Trump's mind. The worst thing you could do is criticize him in any way, even if it's a light critique. He doesn't take well to it. And so among the people he targeted with revoking the security clearances were people like James Clapper, Michael Hayden, who was the former director of the CIA and the National Security Agency, and retired Admiral William McRaven, who was the former head of the Special Operations Command. Now back to the whole DeSantis debacle though, because God, it's just so tasty. I think it's the tastiest part of the entire story, okay? So get ready, yummy in your tummy, it's coming. So in refuting the claim that Trump had used the Justice Department and the FBI to help DeSantis when he faced a potential recount in 2018, Kelly said no such request had been made to the Justice Department or the FBI. Okay, here's where it gets good. In fact, Kelly said, Trump was growing increasingly disillusioned with DeSantis at the time.
Ooh.
That fall, DeSantis had distanced himself from Trump's public claim that Democrats inflated the death toll in Puerto Rico from Hurricane Maria. He was insufficiently impressed with DeSantis's loyalty to him, Kelly said.
That sounds like the most true thing ever said.
Absolutely.
Yes. So look, I'm going to debate Larry Elder on the conversation tomorrow. That's at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the same channel. You should check that out. Of course, Young Turks starts every day at 6 o'clock Eastern live. And Larry Elder says it's outrageous to say Republicans are fascist. But this is why we say it, because Donald Trump says, and get a load of the irony, let's use the deep state to investigate my political opponents. That's why he's always saying, I think the deep state is targeting me, because that's exactly what he wants to do. So he assumes that everyone is as deeply immoral as he is, okay? So when you use the government to investigate your political opponents, that's fascism. When you say, I don't care about democracy, I don't care about laws, I don't care about the US Constitution, and I wanna just have me get the advantages and target, again, my political opponents. That is fascism. That's why, look, I don't think Ron DeSantis, I think Ron DeSantis is a terrible guy, but I don't think he's a fascist. He's never shown anything like this, okay? Whereas Trump has shown it 1,000 times. That is why it's super important that Trump not be president again, because he won't have people like John Kelly. He will just find the janitor and the other guy, whoever's he's got a bunch of cronies around him. He's gonna be the most incompetent, buffoonish criminals you've ever seen. They're gonna ignore every law. They're gonna shred our Constitution, and we're never gonna have another election. We can't let this monster back in. And now, just small note here. Look, I know they're never gonna investigate Trump on this. This is his 28th crime in a row. I want the Inspector General is trying to find out who ordered this, if it was ordered at the IRS. Good, we need accountability for that guy, because we know they're never gonna hold Trump accountable.
Right.
It's maddening. And by the way, the second reason John Kelly came out is because Trump is also, on a personal level, a monster. Trump had said to John Kelly, while John Kelly was praying over his son's grave at Arlington Cemetery, Trump said, I don't get it. Why do they do it? What's in it for them?
Jesus Christ.
So that's the kind of guy Donald Trump is. And the fact that a third of this country loves him is, again, one of the most dispiriting facts about humanity that I have ever learned.